Glenn Parker, High Vibration Foundation. Thank you very much for joining me. I haven't done a video on this topic for a very long time. I backed off of the idea and was doing a lot of internal recalibration. And what are you talking about, Glenn? It's the $1 Million Challenge. So it's basically, $1 million falling from the sky. Hey, that is obviously a possibility, or somebody giving me a gold bar, or whatever it happens to be. It is higher and higher manifestation and getting out of your own way is what I'm finally coming to realize. And I realized that early on, but it is more so fine-tuning the process. So what am I getting at? I wanted to give you first some ideas of what's been going on as to manifestation and the fluctuations in that, and how you can do some personal fine-tuning for yourself as well. So here's what I'm finding. Ever since I made that declaration and I cleaned out my energetic space and was more mindful of my thoughts, and for instance, if something came up that was either a conflict or any type of other idea, I still had a lot of mental, a lot of exercise neurally around, thought patterns going over and over and over certain types of things. And I wouldn't call them obsessive compulsive or anything like that, but it was, you get into these patterns of thought and sometimes it's hard to steer the ship a different direction. So what I was doing is being more mindful. So if I find myself in an eddy that is not the $1 million idea, and the $1 million idea to me is just the freedom to do what you want when you want to do it. It doesn't mean you have $1 million in the bank or any of these types of ideas, but that is also within the overall idea. The idea is to be able to do what you want when you want to do it. So if I want to go and do this type of thing, if I want to travel here, if I want to buy this type of thing, I don't want to have to think about how that needs to happen. It's my universe. It can happen when it needs to happen, and how it needs to happen can be very, very simple and easy. So what I was learning during this process is reprogramming the mind and getting out of your own way is effectively what I'm saying. And when I started getting out of my own way and making this idea of not necessarily the $1 million, because that's not really the important thing. The important thing was the freedom of doing whatever I wanted to do. Once I started focusing on that, because we have a lot of preconceptions for $1 million. Oh, I need to go on Survivor and win the $1 million, or I need to play some slot machines to win the $1 million. So a lot of times those preconceptions when you're making a baseline type of goal get in the way. So when I made it about freedom, Daddy wants a new pair of shoes, Daddy wants to take a vacation and go to the Caribbean, Daddy wants to go to Australia or to Amsterdam, or these types of ideas, and visit people and places and things and do all these people and places and things that are really fun. There's a lighter energy. Now there's or a lot less resistance, because it's not about the how, it's about what. I want to do that, universe, give that to me. I'm an immortal being in a timeless reality in relation to the concept called time. I exist now, so I always have, and I always will. So I am infinite, and I have infinite possibility available to me for as long as I believe that is the case. Now, the belief system around $1 million may have a lot more resistance against it than, oh, Daddy just wants a new pair of shoes, and then I want to go here, and I want to go there. And removing the how is a lot easier in that process, is what I'm finding. So, I wanted to give you a pulse on what's been going on. I haven't done a video for quite some time on this particular topic. And it was because I was bouncing back and forth and recalibrating, and the idea of doing the video and the $1 million still had a lot of resistance around it because of the ideas around, what would need to be done to get that, rather than just the freedom. So now I think it's more just the idea of freedom. And since I've been in more of that idea, and if something comes up that is bothersome, I'm like, is that a $1 million idea? Is that a freedom type of idea? No, that's more of a resistance idea. Nah, don't need that. And I think about things that Daddy wants. Daddy wants a new pair of shoes, and Daddy wants to go and take a vacation. Daddy wants an RV, and all this types of stuff, right? And I do refer to myself as Daddy. What do you want from me? So in this idea, treading and purifying and purifying and purifying is the most important thing. It isn't the how, it's more the what. I want the freedom. I want to be able to go here. I deserve to be able to go there, and I need to do this, and I need to do that. These are very valid things. So it's really just getting more out of your own way. So in my personal world, as I've been getting out of the way and doing more things that excite me and putting myself more available for people, this is what's happened. So I've noticed that now I have the things that I want. Like I like certain types of vitamins. I like to exercise and do things and have a high level of nutrition. Brenda Fly likes that. The body likes, I have a hot dog and I'm like, it hurts, and I have like a smoothie from Whole Foods or something, then, the body likes that. So high energy items. And, if you're within the idea of monetarily, those hot dog $1, a 12-ounce thing from Whole Foods, $10, $8, whatever. So it's in the enjoyment of it, finding more enjoyment of it and releasing resistance. So and I'm finding that I have money in the bank and that I'm just not prepaying things like a cell phone and whatnot, like the month for the next month, and, holding on to money, because that's historically been what needs to happen during this process and these last years. And now I have 2 different partnership types of ideas that have come up. One with a company that sells health and nutrition products, and another one that is going to be an advertising agency that wants somebody to do all the networking and oversee networking and social media. And it's more of a luxury type of market. It's a very niche type of market, and they have a lot of money to spend within this marketplace, basically. So I tag that as a luxury market. And it's likened to the idea, and they do business with people like Tony Robbins and things like that. So it's like in the motivational field, which is funny because, that is my field. So energetically, I attracted that and started having dialogues with these type of people and with people that do work with them and for them. And I had a conversation today. I said, hey, this is what we want to do. This is the goal. And I suggested, hey, why don't we just make a agency as an outside entity that can do all these things, and then we can slice up the pie amongst ourselves and offer particular packages that would be attractive to these types of people within this marketplace and within this type of, the money that they like to spend. They like to spend $10K to get this type of thing done, and then there's all the social media management and the pay-per-click and all these types of ideas. So that dialogue continues today in a very short time, it's a call in 45 minutes for that. And then there's another idea for this other partnership where they're discussing, hey, I want a mastermind, I want to bring somebody in that has your skill sets. And I just demonstrated to them the things that I could do. I gave them I did a whole bunch of SEO and pay-per-click type of research and marketing and made tons of suggestions on how to reorganize what they're doing. I gave them 1,300 keywords as a research set. And they're looking at them and going, damn, all right, well, you have some skills. Let's talk a little bit more about that. So he called Friday to continue that dialogue. So those are 2 things that have come up. And I notice when I get out of my own way, those things get more amplified and they start chasing me rather than me chasing them. And then, if I get into, how's this going to happen? How's that going to happen? And then it gets more muddied and it gets more difficult. And then you have to, when you put the idea of how something happens, you are making it take more time because you are requiring more time in your belief systems for it to manifest. Well, whereas Daddy just wants to have fun, Daddy just wants a new pair of shoes, Daddy wants to go on vacation, Daddy wants an RV, and that's it. You're not saying, well, then Daddy needs to do this and Daddy needs to do that, and now you're making it take more time because you are putting those things in the way, so you are literally creating more time. Where the universe knows how to give it to you right now. Oh, you want a pair of shoes? Here you go. No way the human mind could have known how those pair of shoes were going to come. Well, if I want a pair of shoes, then I need to do this, and I need to work for this many hours, da-da-da-da. You're now making more time for that to have to happen for you. And that is the key, is just knowing what you want and letting go of how. However you can do this, there's a number of ways of letting go. And as I've done that within this $1 Million Challenge, the challenge of freedom, let's call it now, many things have come up. I have more money than I've had in years, and other things have manifested, other ideas have manifested, other opportunities have manifested that could be just, the type of money that I'm thinking of, or, yeah, you can just buy a house or multiple houses and that type of idea. And that's because I don't have any prerequisites as to how. Letting go of how, number of ways to do that, and recalibrating when you find yourself off track, and finding ways to recalibrate, whether it's symbology or it's music or doing a retreat or taking a bath or masturbating or whatever it happens to be. Whatever it is, you can release some of that. There's nothing like a good tug on the poi at the end of the day, or for women to take a bath and run the water for the faucet and have some happy time in the bathtub, to release that crap at the end of the day, or to recalibrate and refocus, let go of some energy and then recalibrate. So much better with a partner, mind you, but it is what it is. Sometimes there's just not somebody available. But within the toolbox of things to do recalibration, those are certainly valid. And within the idea of wanting and manifesting other people, if it is the life partner, twin flame that you want. Excuse me, really windy today, lots of dust in the air. Then, just say daddy wants a life partner, or mama wants a life partner, or, this is what I want, this is what I want to manifest. I had somebody just send me a message and said, I just wrote out 110 different things that I want to do and accomplish. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. I said, you made a declaration, now you just need to let it go. Not how. I said, did you make hows in there? It's like, no, I just what I wanted. So that's perfect. And that's really stepping back and allowing. And then you get momentum. You get one thing, you're like, oh, I didn't have to work 10 hours to do that. Oh, wow. And then you get to more and more. And you start realizing that it's unnecessary to do those types of things. So that feels like everything that wants to share today. A little longer than I wanted to go, but tons of good information in there. Thank you very much for joining me. Again, Glenn Parker, High Vibration Foundation, coaching life, business, and spiritual, and retreats, all that down below. In the description, tons and tons and tons of stuff down there. And different channels, different people to check out that are in the new energy. And if you did find this video useful, please like, subscribe, and share, and add it to playlists, all these types of ideas. It's just the idea of exchanging energy, allowing other people to find material that might be useful for them as you would want them to do for you.